Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show how to create louvers like this and how to arrange them parametrically um, according to a point here. So we're going to do this this is just an example, but we're going to do this in Grasshopper. Okay, so we're going to start with an existing surface from Rhino and a point that should be on the XY plane. We're going to bring this surface into Grasshopper. And we're going to use a bounding box. Oh, I like to work with this one on, so then I just see the component that I touch. You see here. Okay, so then I'm going to put a bounding box component that basically just constructs a bounding box around this surface. And I am going to deconstruct that bounding box to get the different planes of the box. So just to see here the output, here you can see it. This indicates that this gives me the domains of the box. So this means that on the x direction, I'm just going to show it here. On the x direction, we have a box that starts at 1.58 and ends at, and you can see here, 1.58 and ends at 11.11. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to use an offset plane. And the idea will be now to repeat this this plane, copy it on the x direction, so then we can intersect it with the surface and obtain sections from it. So I will, as a starting point, I will have the y plane that is here. You see it there, and this is the plane that I'm going to copy it to intersect it, and the I'm going to use a range component to create a series of numbers, and I'm going to add a slider to control how many numbers that will be. So I'm just going to say 5 dot 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 30 to have a good range here. And here you see the numbers that are being created in between these two values of the bounding box. So here you see 1.58 is always the starting point and the end point is always the same. And then I'm just controlling how many numbers in the middle. Okay, so then I can use the range as the distance here. And I'm going to use this plane as the starting point. Here you go. So here you can see that I created a series of planes starting from starting from here. I'm going to show it here, this one, right? And ending on this one. And here I'm controlling how many of those I have, right? So now that I have that, I can intersect these planes with the surface. I can use a B-rip plane intersection. So here are the planes. This one is the B-rip, the original surface. And then that gives me curves. That will be the base point of my louvers here. I'm just going to increase this one so that we have a bit more variety in the results. Okay, so now that I have that, I can extrude these ones. And I need a direction of extrusion. And I really want to extrude them in this direction, the same as the blue arrow. So I'm just going to obtain that direction. And the way I can do that is by using Deconstruct plane component from the original surface, and this will give me the direction normal to the plane. So I'm just going to use a vector display so that you see that one. Vector display. Oops. So I'm going to use the origin here and this one here. And this one should be, yes, you see here. This is the vector that I wanted to obtain because I'm going to extrude the louvers on this direction. Okay, just going to keep this one here. I don't need it. And I'm just going to, if I connect this directly, I cannot control how much they are being extruded. These are my louvers here. But I want to do that, so I'm going to use a vector amplitude component, this one here, and then I'm going to define the amplitude here. So then I can control how much they are being extruded. You see. And I can also do something here that is that I can make them extrude according to the distance to this point. So I'm just going to quickly do that. I'm going to find the endpoints of each one of these curves. I'm going to use a point component here to just check which one is the start. Not this one. This one is the start. And I'm going to measure the distance to this point. I don't think I have inputted that point yet. No. Oops. So I'm going to just add a point here. And they set one point, this one. And then I'm going to measure the distance between these 2 points. And I am going to maybe define the amplitude based on that. And you will see what happens. So basically, this is, of course, too large. And so I can also always use division component to just make those numbers smaller. You see that these numbers are very large here, 4 meters and such. So I'm just going to use a division component to control how large these numbers are. Okay, so then as you see, these ones are being extruded less and more based on their distance to the points. Okay, but that was not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do is to align them based on this point. So let's do that. Okay, so now that I have these ones, I can do is I can use rotate direction component, and basically I will rotate these ones here. That will be my geometry. Then the center point, I can use these ones here, the points below. And then from one direction to a final direction. And the initial direction can be this one here. So I'm just going to use that one as the initial direction. And the to direction can be a line that I construct in between the point, you will see that, and the endpoint of this ones. So like this, you see? Okay, so that will be our targets. So this should work. Maybe I will, yeah, so it's working, but it's like extruded on the other direction. So I'll just flip here the end and start point, and I think that will work. Yes, okay, so that solved it. And okay, so then there you have it. Now we have, now when we move these ones, and this can be like either defined by the sun or I don't know, a special view that you want or something else, and then that controls the orientation. That kind of controls the the direction of these louvers. I'm just going to use now a slider to just control how, remember that we are controlling the extrusion distance based on this point, but I will just change that to a fixed number for now. So I can just adjust a bit more. Oops, what is going on? Ah, it's too little. Okay, there we go. So here you see maybe a bit better. These are the rotated ones, and then these are being adjusted based on this location, right? So then when you're happy with the results, and of course this is parametric, you can adjust many, many things here. You can adjust the number of the louvers that you have and so on. You can have like very dense louvers. And then once you're happy and want to try out different iterations, you can just bake this and save these ones as you explore. Oops. Okay, I didn't mean to move the surface. So I'm just going to move this one and then move the surface back. Oops. Oh my gosh. This being slow for some reason. It's getting slow for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. The surface. Here you go. Okay. So there you have it. And then you can keep exploring with what happens when you modify some of the parameters. You can also combine the rotation with the extrusion and so on. And this will work as long as the point is on the ground when because of how the component was. Just a FYI. Okay, that's it.